Michael Jordan episode. Are you ready?
Michael Jordan episode. I hope they're ready for this episode 2 or second part of the current events episode, right?
It's not.
Psych.
We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that.
We decided in the last 30 minutes we ain't gonna do that.
Exactly. So. But what's good, y'all? Welcome to episode 23 of Short Kings Talk. We are your host with the most. This is Kelvin. It's Scary Hours 3.
Bro, that was creepy out there.
Oh,
yeah, the alarms.
We were checking if everything was locked, and then the alarm went off. We're just like, this is crazy.
So this has been a highly requested, at least from my end.
Yeah.
We didn't want to do it until 1,000 subs.
I didn't want to do it, but it's all good. Yeah. But before we get into it, if anyone hasn't subscribed yet, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as follow us on all social media platforms at Short Kings Talk Everything. Links are in the description below. And if you have been following us up until currently episode 23, we'd like to thank y'all, man. We're still trying to grow, and we appreciate the support. But yeah, I didn't want to talk about it, not yet. But we're finally going to, again, get into our professions. This is going to be a fitness episode. Yep. Yeah. Are you excited?
We sprinkled a little bit here and there.
But this is a full episode. This is a
full-on episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Some of my clients have been asking, why don't you guys talk about fitness? Like, we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. It's because it's our jobs.
Yeah, dude.
So we just want to talk about.
Super interesting.
I mean, I find what I'm into super interesting, but even in the field that I'm technically under, I don't keep up with that world, because technically on paper I'm a power lifter, right? But I don't keep up with the powerlifting world at all. But
you competed.
I have competed, yeah, and I want to compete again next year.
Yeah, so you're in it. You're just not about the.
I'm not as
the culture. You're not about the culture.
Yeah, not as much as when I competed actively back in 2017.
Well, that was the peak.
That was my peak. Yeah, that's when I had records. Now I don't.
Now you're trying to get the other records.
What other records?
Your rapping career.
Not even. No. All I want to do really is I just want to obtain the best numbers I can compete. So I'm competing with myself. Mm-hmm. That's really it. That's all I'm doing. I don't really care about going to nationals or setting records anymore.
Those fucking 19-year-old kids are insane nowadays.
No, we're different age groups. So I'm in the open class now. So it's 24 to I think 35. Not sure.
There was that one refugee looking dude. He was hella strong too. Remember?
The fact that you described him as that, man, come on.
He looked like he just got here from like Dom or some shit.
But again, as a personal trainer and as a physical therapist and also a trainer, we're gonna, use this episode to, give our opinions and some advice with everything fitness. So let me start with this, because to be a valuable trainer, you have to stick out. So you have to have a niche. So for you being both a physical therapist and a trainer, as a two-part question, do you have a niche for both avenues? For as a physical therapist and as a trainer, do you say you have a niche? And obviously they'll both blend because you do like your practices in the same facility.
I don't want to be corny and be like every fucking therapist out there. They're like, oh yeah, I'm like a sports performance. Like, dog, what does that mean? Can you please explain to me what a sports performance therapist is?
This is interesting because I have heard this.
Right, and you guys don't work for the Lakers. Which one of your clientele are in sports, and what it's corny, right? So for me, I would say
what if they're actually in that field? Do you think it's validated then?
No, everyone just calls themselves it's like when you're on people's LinkedIn for like personal trainer, they go like, what do they say for personal trainers? I don't really follow.
I don't know.
When trainers try to like hype themselves up.
Oh, they say there are other titles. I've done that before.
Yeah. Like we have one here that calls herself a celebrity trainer. I ain't seen her train a celebrity ever.
That's true.
Right.
But for example, I have a certification in corrective exercise.
Yeah.
Like specialist.
Like CES, right? Whatever.
Yeah. So I'll use that.
For me, I would say my niche is as a last chance provider, right? People that have been around to every single avenue they can, and they couldn't find a solution. So they pay me a little bit more to try to figure it out.
Yeah, and you figure it out.
Yeah, and I figure it out.
Yeah, because I have seen it. Like you generate results.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm a last chance provider. That's why I call myself.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay. What about on the trainer side? Do you have a niche there?
You know those ad videos? They're like, hey, are you a male in your 30s? No, I'm not going to do that. I specialize in getting people that used to be like us, right? And our other friend who was 140, like skinnier guys who are higher on the metabolism side, ectomorphy people, and then getting them to eat pretty much, right? Getting them to build muscle. That's my niche.
So that you say
that is my niche. Yeah,
really.
I'm not a bodybuilder.
You don't mess with mesomorphs or anything.
What is there to train on mesomorphs? They're just so naturally fucking talented. Yeah, I guess like I'm not a powerlifter, so I don't try to. I know you coach powerlifting clients, right? I don't.
Not necessarily. Anymore, right? I did when my online coaching business was way more prominent. But again, I don't really push. Like I'll still accept online coaching or online clients, but then that's more on a referral base. I push one-on-one.
But you did like meet preps and stuff like that.
Yeah, right? I have. Yeah. So as for me as a trainer, my niche is all mobility, and I call it functional strength, which is essentially the big three, and all the exercises, regardless of it being fat loss or muscle gain, still supplements for functional strength. So that's for me, because I see the outside applications. Right? Yeah. Like my whole thing, if you've been on my website, it says when you move better, you feel better. And I think that's very true. Yeah. Because I've heard it from clients like, I just feel good that I'm able to, because whenever you get like a really good massage or you get a good stretch and you just feel
really good massage.
yeah. And you just feel good right after. Right? Yeah. So like, why not just be very mobile and flexible at all times?
Yeah. Like getting Theragun mid-session.
I don't know about that one. I don't own a Theragun, so I have no 2 cents on that. But with functional strength, like people don't realize that you just need strength to just carry yourself throughout the day, right?
Get groceries and
even when you're just sitting down. People think that you're at rest when you're sitting down. The only time you're at rest is when you're lying down.
The only time you're at rest is when you're fucking dead.
That too.
So your postural muscles are always on, even when you're laying down. They're autonomic. You can't cue. I've heard this crazy fucker today telling someone to like activate their mid back muscles, like the erectors. And I was like, dog, you cannot activate your erectors. You can't. There's no nerve endings that you could actively.
This is a very interesting topic on. Using your lower back muscles. Yeah. So for everyone who doesn't know, your erectors are only there for stability. Yeah. Yeah. There's no.
You can't turn them on.
Yeah.
They're on.
They're on.
They're always on.
So for people that know, like, if you want to look at this as like your spine, so I always tell this to clients. Core strength is synonymous to lower back stability because they're connected. So. Yeah. Like your abs like wrap around to your lower back like this, like that. So if you have good core strength, you have a good lower back strength. If you have good lower back strength, then you have good core strength. They're both like together. And the thing is, like, if you have lower back problems during a certain movement, it's because you're putting too much leverage on that lower back when you shouldn't. Right. Because again, it's always activated. For example, on a conventional deadlift, your erectors are one of your primary movers, but you shouldn't think about like pulling it from your lower back, right? Because that's what creates a herniated disc.
Yeah, but you can't just like when you're bracing for the deadlift, you don't go, oh, erectors on, right? No, they're just on, because the way that the erectors work is. You have muscles that are like more sympathetic, right? Like your arm. If you curl a bicep curl, you're like, I could feel my bicep curling, right? Exactly. So there's like afferent nerve endings that go into that. For your erectors and all the postural muscles, when they sense gravity, it's on. Right. You can't turn it off, right? You could try to relax your erectors as you're sitting, but you can't, right? It's still on. So like for trainers out there that are like trying to sell solutions to their clients where they're like, oh, you have to activate this specific muscles there, right? They're all full of shit. Yeah, you can't do that.
I like that you're mentioning, because I wanted to ask you this as someone who is a physical therapist, because you obviously know more about the biomechanics of someone's body. So what's your opinion on the difference of someone feeling the sensation of something moving or being stimulated versus actually, I guess, training that area? Do you know what I'm saying?
Like the mind muscle connection?
Yeah. So like what, like the difference between like, there's obviously a mind muscle connection, but then what's your opinion with like them
squeezing hell hard?
them feeling it rather than actually putting it into motion to like promote results.
Like hypertrophy, right? That's what you're force generation
for both. Yeah. Like for both hypertrophy. So for anyone who doesn't know, hypertrophy is muscle building.
Yeah. For
both hypertrophy and for strength building.
Yeah.
So what's your opinion with, like, you know how some people would be like, oh, if you feel your serratus anterior, you'll get this. Yeah. So like there's a difference of feeling the sensation rather than actually utilizing that muscle for the intended movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your opinion on that?
There's so much research about this. We call it intent, right? Mm-hmm. And actual mechanical tension, right? Which is what you're after.
Yeah.
Muscle does not give a shit whether you're trying to build size or strength, right? They only care if they're able to produce enough force, right? In the nutshell. Now, you could mess with rep ranges and stuff, so you can maximize more tension for more, hypertrophy building muscle, or you could just go pure strength and be like, I want to generate as much force as possible,
right?
Or some people don't want to be super big, right? They're just trying to maximize that connection. Anyways, the intent and the intent, which is feeling the muscle, right, and the amount of force that's generated are they're almost irrelevant.
Yeah.
Right? So you can have all the intent in the world, but you're still not going to be able to produce enough force if your leverages are not right.
Yeah.
So I know there's a lot of trainers that try to sell the they do the tapping shit. Oh, you gotta feel it here. Like you gotta really focus. Some celebrity trainers who are like influencers, like CT Fletcher is one of them.
Okay.
Right, where it's like, oh, you like, grow motherfucker, like look at it, right? But like the research has shown that in exercise intent, and the tension generated, mechanical tension, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't really correlate.
Yeah.
Right. You just if you do it right, if you do the movement right in a full range, your full range of motion, right? Whatever you have access to, right?
Yeah.
That's more important, right?
Right.
Just not fucking it up the movement.
Which is my like big belief as a trainer and as just exercise in general. Yeah. So for me, I believe in mastering the full range of motion. So for squat, bench, and deadlift, if you want to get better at those movements, you practice those movements. Yeah. And the accessories are only to strengthen what you lack. So if you lack in core strength, if you lack in quad strength, or any type of drive or stability in that aspect, you use the accessories for that. But I always circle it back to strengthening the big three, which is squat, bench, and deadlift. I have a question with that, but before going to that, I also, since you mentioned hypertrophy and I guess like intent in moving the muscle, what's your opinion on, this is for muscle building, what's your opinion on time under tension versus volume? So time under tension is how much you're stimulating, like again, time under tension. So if you're stimulating muscle for like 30 seconds to a minute, whatever. Yeah. So it's like, we'll use the bicep curl as an example. So time under tension could be like, I can do sets of 10 reps, and I can go really slow with a certain weight versus going 15 to 30 reps. What's your opinion on that?
On what time? Is it effective or what?
On effectiveness for muscle building.
It's the same thing, right? So so what you're looking for in a in hypertrophy. Okay, so there's three contributors to hypertrophy in research: mechanical tension, right? Metabolic stress, and muscular damage.
Yeah.
Right. So the more you're able to tear your muscle in very nanoscopic regions, right, and then they rebuild thicker. So that's one. Mechanical tension: how much tension can you put through that muscle so it stretches fully? Again, causing more tears.
Exactly.
Right? And then metabolic stress, like when you pump. You do bicep curl, right? You're flushing a bunch of ions, anions, and other good stuff into your muscle. I don't want to overcomplicate it, right? And those things, they add on to the rebuilding process. Exactly. So those are the three things you want looking for, right? So when they're doing hella long time under tension, like 5-second negatives and stuff like that, right? It's good because you're promoting a lot of mechanical tension, right?
Yeah.
You're pulling it apart, you're ripping it at the right amounts, right? So it could regrow better.
Yeah.
Now let's say so what I do with my clients is I have a set time under tension for the whole session. Okay. Right. So I'm like, I want you to be in 60 seconds of eccentrics, right? Okay. Whether you do it through 3-4 sets of 10-second eccentrics, or you just pump it out crazy with high volume, it doesn't matter to me. Okay. Right. So it's just the total volume, time under tension at the end of the session. So they both work. It's just like, do you want to suffer through holding that weight for 10 seconds on the way down, or you just want to get over with? Right? It's the same thing.
Got you. What's your opinion on your body getting adjusted to that type of training? Do you believe that occurs?
You do, yeah, because you're gonna build enough muscle, right?
Yeah.
Or you get strong enough neurologically
where you get acclimated.
Where you get acclimated, where you're not getting that much tension through the thing anymore, because the muscle fibers are so thick and dense, right? Like I'm sure, like when we started, a 15 pounds freaking heavy as a and
it's
nowadays it's less heavy, right? It's not as heavy, right? So you're gonna get to a point where your muscles are so dense where the load is not enough to stretch it anymore.
Got you.
Right? So that's how progressive overload and stuff works.
I've always told friends and especially clients that it's very easy to change the variation for like stimulating your reps. So changing the weight is one, changing the rep range is one, and then changing the speed. Like there's so many like simple solutions to just, I guess, change up the workout, not just change the movement.
That's why calisthenic athletes are jacked.
Yeah,
they only have a bar and the ground, right?
Yeah, exactly. But they do so much.
They do so much variation. They do holds and stuff like that. It all works. In fitness, everything works.
Exactly.
It's just like, how long do you want to take to get to the end goal?
Yeah, exactly. That's why, like, when we had our Q&A episode 20. I said where there's a certain bliss of you don't need to be the most intelligent trainer, because if you just give a very like underperform like newbie client just like simple movements, it's like, all right, let's even though we have our opinion of like, oh, why are they starting with bicep curls and the next thing you know they're doing hamstring curls after, right? If you just put someone through these movements, regardless, they're gonna build muscle and they're gonna get fit, right? Rather than, like, I guess for us who have a very specific motive or a structure that we put our clients through. Yeah. Right. Like, I think there's just a certain bliss where, like, you can just be a trainer, like, knowing simple movements, and then you just get someone fit anyways, rather than there's optimal ways to. Yeah, like the
optimal bros nowadays, right? They're very fixated on the science, which is good, but they don't look at context, right? They're like, the lat fibers are running this way, therefore I could only pull this way. But it's like, yeah, you can do that, but you can't do it with really heavy weights. How are you going to progress it, right? So at some point, a non-optimal movement that's heavier will get you more results.
Got you.
That's why, like, some of those guys who are like, they don't read about anything, they're in like fucking Russia, they're just like lifting like a fucking bear, right? Super effing strong. Super strong, right? And then you have guys that are like so focused on getting the most optimal program and optimal exercises, right? They're not super strong at all, because they're always stuck in like analyzing. They're like, oh, is this like the best way to do this, right?
So this is a big thing, because like for me, like, functional strength is very, very prevalent in my former training for myself and for my clients. So like, a lot for Gen Pop, like a lot of their goals is either fat loss or muscle building, right? Or a mix of both, which we can definitely help like clients achieve that for sure. But for me, I always tell them, no matter what, I'm going to implement mobility and functional strength, because one, you should be mobile. Like, you shouldn't be like hella jack and then not being able to like wipe your ass. So, like, that's a big thing. And at the same time, like, there's like longevity benefits for like both of these things, right? So since I always implement mobility and functional strength, is there something for you as a physical therapist / trainer that you always implement to your clients?
No, everyone is. I sit them down. I like. I in an ideal world, everyone would do 10,000 steps a day, right? They would watch their triglycerides when they watch their diet, so they're not eating too much trans fats, right? They're gonna do their stretches and mobility stuff.
But everyone has different lifestyles.
Yeah, like some people just don't have the time, or they don't give a shit about it, right? So for me, it's just like
time and level of motivation.
It's time, right? Time is so valuable, man. Like, so I don't try to waste people's time. There's a lot of trainers out there that give their clients a 30-minute in the morning walk, right? And then they have the walk in the morning for 30 minutes, right? In the morning, and then do your 15-minute mobility or 20-minute mobility routine, and do all this other shit. Get through your workout, go back and do more stretches, right? I've seen it
within the facility, gym or on their own.
On their own, right? So they're programming 2-3 hours of activity a day for their clients, right?
For like that specific block.
So they're just having their clients move around all day, which is, I think it's a cop out, right? Because I'm like, with enough activity, you'll get to your goal, right? But realistically, like,
I think so too, but I get my clients to stretch on their own and to do exercises on their own.
So like any given day, there are trainers out there in here that prescribe 2 to 3 hours of activity.
Right. Oh, in one
day. 1 day, which I think,
like, total or in one block?
No, just
time?
split out throughout the day, right? Which I think it's for someone whose goal is not for longevity and health, and they're like, I just want to lose 15 pounds so I can fit into my wedding dress, right?
Okay.
That's a little bit excessive in my opinion.
Right.
And I work with people that are they're really lazy, so that's why they come to me, right? Because they're like, okay, what's the least amount I could do to lose 15 pounds? What's the least amount I could do to build the chest, right?
And that's the whole thing with hiring a trainer, because they want us for the accountability.
Yeah, so
they just want to come in, not think, get a good workout, and then that's it.
So that's why you have the fire hose method, where you drown people in programming activity, and like you're doing an hour of fucking warm-ups at some point, right? And then there's the more precise one. I always equate it to like if you go buy a TV with the same functions, right? Like everything's the same, right? Would you pay $3,000 for it or $300?
No, yeah, I totally agree with you. Overtraining is definitely a thing, and that's something I learned early on as a trainer. Because when I was at, should I just name the gym? I've already named the gym where I used to work at. When I was at 24 Hour Fitness, the whole business model was when you get a intro session in, you want to like train them like crazy, because you want to make them think that like they're not at that fitness level that they can do that type of workout. And then you tell them like oh yeah, you're not able to do like a 48-inch box jump, so we gotta like train to do that, like some weird shit like that, right? Where now I learned that there is like actual steps, like you have to ease in. Like I always tell like even friends this, like if you haven't worked out in a while and you're gonna work out, ease into it, because no matter what, if it's been months or even years since you haven't worked out, your body's gonna go into shock and it's gonna be very sore, and you have to accept that, right? And the thing is that when you have people paying you for training and they pay you a lot of money, you don't want to injure them, and you don't want to leave a bad first impression, like, yo, why is this guy like trying to injure me, or why is my lower back hurting or something, or why are my knees like whatever buckling down and stuff.
I think beyond injuries obviously how I make a lot more money, but beyond that it's just like fucking just people get overwhelmed, man. You're like you go to someone and you're like, I want to lose 30 pounds, and they tell you have to do 3 hours of some kind of like activity or training a day. Like, are you kidding me? They're like, okay, this is just totally unattainable. Like I can't do this, right? Same with like trainers who like,
do you get people? Are you completely honest when a client asks you stuff? Because you know how sometimes like a trainer will fabricate some like stuff. I think one of the most I guess popular ones, especially if you're a influencer or something, is get abs in 3 months, that type of stuff. Are you do you say that, oh yeah, I can get you there or something? I go, well, they tell me their goals, and I give them a realistic time frame. If you want abs in 3 months, I'm like, you're gonna suffer, but you could get there. You're gonna be eating almost nothing, and everything else is gonna shrivel away, but you'll get abs. I let them choose, like informed pessimism. Okay. Wow. That's actually good, because I'm just super honest, where I'm just like, if you're only doing this for a lifestyle change and you're still trying to maintain like your job and your outside life, then I give them a feasible. Because I remember one of my homegirls years ago asked me like, hey, oh man, like I feel like people who are listening are gonna know who this is. I'm already in. All right. She asked me like, hey, my wedding is in like 4 months, do you think I could lose 40 pounds? And I just straight up go, no. I was just being real though.
On the sustainability, it's 40 in 4 months. If you're not doing a suicide cut, it's gonna be rough, man. Like it's
and if you're not like a pro athlete or actor actress who has all this accessible time to just proper trainers and proper dietitians, like
meals done for you, like all that. Your job is just to lose weight. But I just tell people you're gonna suffer. We could get you there. You're gonna suffer. It's gonna suck.
I guess so. I think people who just are very I mean, what's the word for it? They're just a little uneasy when they like learn the harsh reality of like, oh man, of how long it takes and how much work it takes.
No, right? I think that only works with fat loss though. Like when I tell people you could get abs.
Yeah.
If you're telling me you want to look like Chris Bumstead in 2 years, I'll tell you that
There's no way
in hell that's gonna happen. You can take all the steroids you want, it's not gonna happen.
And you mentioned this before too, like whenever, because I like to ask clients, like, you know, if you have a physical goal, like give me a photo reference and we can build from there. When they give me a photo reference, I'm like, yeah, we can get there, but just know that you're not going to look like that all the time. And you mentioned this before, like to be, as for a guy, to be a sub 10% body fat just all the time, you have to be like, one, you don't have a lot of muscle, and two, you have to be like a runner.
Yeah.
Right? Runner or fighter or something.
Freaking sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. Like other than that, it's not optimal. Like, but there is feasible like body goals that you can obtain, because again, for pretty much all my clients, this is pretty much like just a lifestyle change. They just want to be healthy, they want to get stronger. That's why they kind of hire me for that job, and they all understand that it's going to take some time. Yeah,
that's why I asked you earlier about, you know, your niche for like powerlifting, right? Because we train gen pop, right? Let's be real. I don't prep people for shows. Right. You don't prep people for meets anymore, right? It's just regular folks who want to be like a little bit more like, you know, above, more toned, right?
Exactly.
I hate that word,
exactly.
Right? So, but in my mind, like I have much higher standards than they do, so we meet in the middle, right? So I'm like, you can get shredded, and they're like, their definition of fit and mine are completely different, right? Yeah. So I think the middle ground is where the happy medium is. So they think toned and fit is like 15%, faint lines, right? Right. For me, I think it's 8 minimum, right? You need to be like veins on abs. That's when you're like lean, right? Like
super lean.
Yeah. Magazine but for them, they're like, they think that's gross. They're like, oh, that's too much. I just want like if I'm under the right lighting, I see a little bit of lines, right? That's all they want. Yeah. Which is not that hard. Either that, or like I usually hear like they want to fit into their clothes again. Yeah, they're like, oh, I had this dress in high school that I want to fit into, and I'm like, or
they want like nice like the nice chest, nice shoulders. Like I'm just gonna tell them like it's gonna take some time.
Yeah, muscle building takes a while.
Yeah. What do you do with if you have a client for a certain amount of time? What do you do with like certain adversities, like, you know, when they kind of lose motivation, or potential like minor injuries, or like, you know, like sometimes obviously like we understand that, you know, you have to do this as a lifestyle change. You have to work out consistently. You have to especially diet consistently. And over several months, like, you can lose that motivation because, you know, you just don't want to be eating clean. You just want to like live your life, which we understand. What do you do in those type of situations? What do you tell your clients? Are you more like, stop being weenie, or
some David Goggins shit? Who's going to carry them now? No. It's easier when they have a carrot on the stick, right? If there's an event they're prepping for, like some people are like, I want to look good for EDC in 6 months, and I'm like, okay, there's something there, right? But for people who are just like, they're the worst ones are like, I just want to get fit, and I'm like, like give me an example, like how does it look like? I don't know, I just want to lose 20 pounds, and they don't really, they're just like, I guess I want to kind of lose weight, but I don't. They just give in to all the temptations, right? Okay. They're not consistent. So anyways, what I tell them is, hey, you're paying me hella money. Like, at the end of the day, you're paying me for accountability. I care, but I can't care more than you do. Right? So I'm professional, but I'm not going to take it personal, right? If you cheat on your meals, I'm not like the coaches out there.
That's on your accord.
Yeah. Like, I heard people scream at their clients today about cheat meals. Right? They're yelling at them. Like, why would you do that? Like, you just threw a week of progress down the... To me, I'm just like, well...
A week of progress?
They're like... I'm like, well, you kind of set yourself back a little bit. But that's fine. You just delayed your goal further. Exactly. Right. I'm like, I always joke around. I'm like, I don't care. You're paying me.
Yeah. I always do this visually. Like, I always tell them, like, hey, progress is never like this. Yeah. It's always like this. Yeah. And I do that exact motion. I'm like, there's ups and downs and bumps on the road. Because it's like that for us too, right? Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of inhibitions that we deal with. And at the same time, we want to live our lives too.
Yeah, like we're on vacation for like 2 weeks. And
we're just, on vacation. We like to drink. We like to, you know, indulge. You know, but for the most part, like, we live a very healthy lifestyle. Yeah. I always think it's funny whenever clients like say like, oh yeah, I'm going to so and so for a week. I'll try to eat healthy when I'm there. I'm like, why?
Just enjoy yourself.
Yeah, live your life. Like, go, just do it. He goes, no, like, it's like, do you know any restaurants I can go to that has like decent protein?
What should I order? Whatever you want.
What does your heart say? Just live your life. It's fine. Like, this is something that you need to understand, and we understand that, you know, we get it that you want to live your life. If you're not preparing for a competition or a role or whatever, like, it's okay to break your diet or your like training cycles once in a while.
Yeah.
It's bottom line, if you're consistent, what do you want to say, like 75-80% of the time?
Not even. You don't even need that. Like I think over 60, you'll get there eventually. Because you're past the midway point, right? If you're 50-50, you're going to be in limbo forever.
Okay.
Right. I think anything over 51%, over 10 years, you'll get there, right?
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel about, I don't know if you have clients, but clients with friends that are not into fitness and they sabotage them every single, like, avenue they get. For example, they're like, why aren't you coming out to eat Korean barbecue? And they're like, no, I'm on a diet. I don't know why.
Those type of Debbie Downers?
Yeah. You have clients like that? Friends like that?
I actually do. And fortunately enough, I have, like, my clients, they're pretty good at, like, picking and choosing when they'll go out and stuff. Yeah, because the thing is that it's not my client's issue. It's their friend's sensitivity to it. Right?
They're not into it, and they're like, I don't know why you would try to lose weight. Like, you'll find the way you are.
Yeah. Like, I have one client who, his friends are like, it's like, why do you always, like, work out all the time if you're just going to complain about being sore? It's like, yeah, well, he goes, I'd rather be sore than fat. I'm like, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Like, I'd rather, like, whatever, eat quote unquote clean and lift heavy rather than just not being comfortable in my own body. Yeah. That's the whole thing why I do it. Like, I see the outside benefits and, I feel great.
But you're not comfortable because you're too big.
Yeah. Okay. We're like, do we gotta get into this? I reverse body shame myself, people.
No, but it's tough because, it's our livelihood, right?
Yeah.
So we try to be, I try to be as, like, impartial as I can. I don't want to steer people be like, oh, you need to do this and that, right?
Yeah.
It's their life. But it's also tough when, people get tempted and then they fall off the wagon, right? Yeah. And they expect me to just motivate and lift them up, and I'm like, I don't have the mental capacity for that. I could care less.
Thank you for saying this. Like, we can only, like, I guess, empathize so much. Yeah, we can only give so much motivation because bottom line, it's still up to you.
It's your body.
Yeah, exactly. To move.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I've had clients where I get it. Like, at the beginning, you can be a little apprehensive on being consistent and stuff like that. It takes some time. Yeah. I get that. Like, 1 to 3 months, whatever, fine. But if it's up to 6 months and I still haven't fully motivated you to do something, that's not on me. Like, I've already given so much. And also, I have other clients to tend to.
Like, I don't think people understand because they're one-on-one, right? They just have to work out. We have to, like, our clients, even though they're, like, fantastic people, right? Yeah. You guys leech energy off us, right? Right. It's tiring, dude. We're like your cheerleaders all effing day long. And especially when I deal with the pain domain, people are crybabies, right?
See, this is why I act like myself when I'm in clients.
So, like, I'm like, it's draining. Like, at the end of the day, like, me and my business partner, we're tired, dude. We're like, we get home, we're like, like, dude, we're drained because we're like trying to, like, give people energy all day. So when people ask for even more, I'm like, I don't have the capacity. See,
this is why I'm acting like myself because, like, I'm chill AF with my clients.
I can't care more than you do. I'm sorry. Like, no amount of money is gonna
make me care, but I'm not like those super hyper enthusiastic trainers. Like, all right,
okay, I don't do that. I don't do that. I'm not Mr. Equinox out there.
But then I don't feel as, like,
responsible.
Mentally, no, I don't feel as drained at the end of the day.
I do. I guess
so.
I just don't.
Well, I think because you do hours of manual
physically, but it's just like people complaining. Like you most of your people are happy coming in, right?
Yeah, because I'm happy.
Yeah, most of my people aren't.
Maybe because you're not happy.
Do you want to be, like, doing therapy? I don't. Like,
like actual therapy, like being like,
because I'm mixed, right?
Yeah,
I'm like 60.
Are you talking about physical therapy or actually being like they're
venting dude, to you? They try to. They always try to trauma dump on me. I'm like, anyways, next.
Really? Oh man, maybe because I'm such a chismoso. Like,
I don't.
You lay it on me.
No, I don't want. I'll deal with it.
Because I told you the story about one client. I'm not gonna say any details just in case they're going to listen to this. But I told you about what happened to my client. Yeah. So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I think the worst is, like, when I have husband and wife duels and then they talk shit about each other.
Oh, that's rough.
And I'm just like, you gotta stop telling me this because I see her right after you. Like, I don't want this. I was just like, just keep it.
And
to
you don't want to
yourself.
be a mediator or anything.
No, I was like, they're fighting, and they're like, oh,
Okay.
like this guy with my other client, he doesn't listen to this shit. He's like, the worst mistake I made, because we went to Tokyo, right? He's like, oh, did you go to the Sky Tree? And I was like, yeah, it was cool. And he's like, yeah, I made the worst mistake of my life there when I proposed to this bitch. And I was like, yo, man, come on, dog.
That's
like
awkward as hell.
I was like, dude, let's fucking. I was like, yeah.
Whether that's sarcastic or not, like that.
No, he was dead ass, but I was like, dude,
that's
that's
weird.
inappropriate because
That's
I was like, because I see her in 45 minutes. I don't want that thought in my head.
Yeah.
Like, just
okay. Rather than talking about our own personal report, I want to ask this. Like, let's go back into like the fitness stuff. So, as a physical therapist, like this is just strictly a exercise and I guess athletic sports related thing. What's a common, I guess, injury or problem that you come by or experience through?
Common injury. Well, I used to see a lot of neck people.
Okay.
Just because everyone's necks are not great from posture, right?
Just strictly posture, or is it exercise or
mostly postural, and then they get bad advice like if your head is forward, you work everything backwards to even things out.
Interesting. Okay.
Right, but like the neck moves on its own axis. It doesn't really when you train your back, you train your scapula muscles. It doesn't do shit to
and
your
it's
neck.
not connect.
Yeah, so they try to play this teeter-totter thing to get their neck right, and then they end up hurting
real quick,
themselves.
is that diagram real? Like, when if you're so protruded forward, then that's like 50 pounds added of stress to your neck. Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh.
So they were talking about force vectors, right? So at the level of the spine, it is 50 pounds, but it's 50 pounds over like 0.1 centimeter.
Oh, okay.
It's not really 50 pounds.
Yeah. But bad posture is bad posture.
Bad posture is bad posture.
Okay.
But like that's one. Knee injuries I see a lot of.
Okay.
Just because of fucking dumbass trainers and their programming.
So what type of knee injuries? So this is
ACL tears.
Okay,
ACL tears, meniscus tears. There's a thing called a Baker's cyst, which comes from a partial torn meniscus. It's a fluid-filled sac that comes behind your knee.
Okay.
That happens a lot. Just because the demographic I work with are people that were out of shape and they want to get back in shape fast. So they try to do 5-6 days a week of training.
Like people who get into CrossFit.
Exactly. Yeah. And then they get hurt immediately, almost like a week after, and they tear and they're older, right? They're like late 30s, mid 40s, and they tear a effing ACL, and I'm just I don't know why you would do that.
And you're in there like prehabbing them,
and then they eventually go back, and then they hurt something else.
Okay.
And then they stop training like an idiot, and then they come train with me.
What else is a common like after? So neck, knee. What else is something?
Shoulder.
Shoulder's
like another knee.
That's a yep.
Yeah. Shoulders, like people way overdo it.
Yeah.
Because their trainers tell them you gotta do 30 sets for the shoulder. You do not need 30.
That's
another
form of overtraining.
Yeah, dude, don't do that much shit.
Yeah.
I
always tell clients, again, I don't know as much as you, but I tell them like this 360 motion is very complex.
Yeah. There are so many moving parts.
That's what I'm saying. So every time, like, do you ever have clients that kind of diagnose themselves?
Yeah, why they watch the prehab guys,
or there's something like it's like, oh, I hurt my rotator cuff. I'm like, which part? They're like, my rotator cuff. I'm like, okay, which part? Like, there's more than one part. So like that.
There are a lot.
Yeah. So do you ever get that? And do you just tell them they just come in and I'll assess them myself?
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people, we get a lot of consults that just try to get like advice. Right, and then they're like, "Oh, I hurt my rotator cuff, right? Give me 3 exercises to do." And I was like, "I don't know if you did that or not."
Okay, I agree with you, but instead of giving blanket advice, like, what do you do typically then if a client says they hurt themselves doing like whatever sport or just like some mundane thing? So if they somehow feel their lower back or their shoulder or whatever, like, do you just tell them, "Oh, just come in, come in, and I'll assess you"?
Oh, that's the only answer. I don't want to be liable. Yeah, because it's a legal concern.
I guess for you,
anything I do is medical advice, right? No, I can't. Just come in.
Oh, okay, okay. No, that's true. Because for me, I tell them to come in, and again, for me as a trainer, my jurisdiction is really just only soft tissue because I'm only active release certified. Yeah. So if I can't do a soft tissue, then I just tell them, like, go seek a physician or go see like anyone else. Yeah.
Go see anyone else, not me.
Well, yeah, because I can't do manipulations, and frankly, I don't want to. I'm scared. So that's it. But then if I can like release your soft tissue and problem solved, then
what if it's like that guy who wanted to Zoom call you? He wants another release.
What?
The Google Hangout guy.
Oh. Some guy inquired for training, and then he goes, he set up an intro session, and then he goes, P.S. I'm also available for Google Hangouts if you want to talk on the camera. And I just completely ignored it. And then, but I confirmed the training, and then he just didn't show up.
No showed, right?
No showed.
Man.
But then the thing is, I didn't show up to that intro session because I texted him the day before to confirm, and just never texted me back. If you don't text me back to confirm your appointment, then I'm not gonna show up.
Yeah, because they clearly don't.
There's no point.
Yeah.
All right. What's the last thing that you want to bring up in terms of advice or opinions with stuff about fitness? This is actually a good episode. Like, I really didn't want to talk about fitness, but I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty good.
What do we see a lot? Habit building. People talk about habit building, and they start with doing a ton of shit at the same time.
Yeah. Okay.
Just one thing.
Yeah, I say there's always two types of people. There's always one who's ultra motivated, and then they can actually get into a consistent workout and diet simultaneously, right? Which is perfectly fine. But if you're not that type of person, that's okay. And we understand, like getting into the gym is already one task on its own, but starting to diet is a big responsibility on its own. And that, like, when we say that it's 80% of your results, it's actually true, right?
Yeah.
So what I do with diet is I tell them start one meal at a time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you are a breakfast person, which a lot of people aren't, they're just very on the go, they just drink coffee, then like I try to give them alternative. Like if you can just add like a little like protein snack or whatever, like anything, if you have the time, go for it. And then if they're not a breakfast person at all, they just only want to drink coffee, then I was like, all right, then let's focus on your lunch. Like, let's change your lunch. Yeah. That's it. And then on a base level, just as a start, I always tell clients to take one multivitamin and one omega-3 pill every day. Super simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can even get the gummies.
The gummies are shit. Okay.
Hey.
It's better than
nothing.
Stop
hating.
Okay, it's better than nothing.
Gummies are fire, okay? Like,
you don't get enough. You need 6 of the pills to get your daily
like multivitamins, right?
Yeah, if you take Centrum, a lot of people do. You need 6 of them.
Yeah.
To get enough. But they only take 1.
Yeah.
They don't read the serving size.
Yeah, but the thing is that at least you're getting some essential
for habit
vitamins.
Building is for sure, but like.
So what do you do? What do you tell clients for any type of habit building?
We start small, like stop drinking your Starbucks in the morning.
Oh.
Right? Take a caffeine pill if you want. If they don't want to give that up, so we move down the vices. Like the most damaging are drinks. Yeah.
What's your conversation like when you tell Asian clients to stop drinking boba? Oh, that's a tough one.
Luckily for me,
they get hurt.
Oh, do they? No.
Yeah, because they love boba, and I told them like you should look up the sugar amount in boba, and then come back to me.
Just drinks, or like acai bowls. I had to talk to someone to stop eating because that shit is like 1,000 calories.
It's hella sugar.
There's a lot of sugar in it.
I ate one today, but my body can handle it.
Or like Diet Coke Zero. I drink 6 cans a day. Yeah, and they're like, oh, I'm worried about the fucking side effects. I'm like, but you're obese. I think you could choose your poison at this point, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna die of heart failure before the cancer gets you.
Let's choose an overall thing.
Pick your poison.
Okay, so you also start small too.
Yeah, same with exercise. Ideally I would, because I do 2 a week for the most part.
Yeah.
I get really sick of seeing
most
people
are 3 for me.
Yeah, I do 2 because I think you could do it on your own. The other 3.
No, I like the 3.
I know, but for me, I get sick of people. Like if I see you more than twice a week, I'm really sick of you.
Okay.
I don't need to hold your hand that much.
Okay.
You guys, but I don't like seeing your faces that much. I'm just kidding. But I feel like, for the most part, I'm just there for the harder stuff, right? Like if you want to do a regular
compound movement,
like a shoulder day, do that shit on your own, bro.
No, I get it. Like when you give clients like exercise to do on their own, like I do the most rudimentary exercise, like one exercise that they can easily Google. Yeah. And then there's a YouTube video on how to do it. And then I never unless I give the full green light. So I have this whole thing with squat, bench, and deadlift. If they're with me, I don't put them under the bar at all until I give them my full green light. Like they're mobile enough and they're strong enough to handle even just the bar or even just a 10, right? And if they're really good, then I'll allow them to do it on their own. Yeah. But they're required to send me at least one set like a video.
Right.
I have to
just for
see
form
form.
check. Yeah.
Because I'm so concerned about it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's-
But then other than that, like just regular exercises, I'll just do regular chest press, bicep curls.
Sure.
I don't need to give them a freaking whatever like some weird transverse to frontal like press movement.
No. Just keep it simple. Like, you know, your body needs to recover. Stop doing all this shit, right? So so I start with that, but just one thing at a time, because like we have an app for training, right? So I know exactly what they're doing if they're doing it right, because they have to log their sets. So it's funny when when people lie to me and they're like, I was like, how's your program been? And they're like, oh yeah, it's fine. You know, I'm not too sore. And I'm like, really? You haven't logged in 38 days? And they're like, you can see that? I was like, yeah, I see literally everything you do on the app. But
dang.
Then I just tell them, like,
my clients gotta be glad that I only use Google Docs.
Yeah, so I just tell them at that point, you know, you're obviously not following the online program.
Okay.
We could just make it work for you. Like, don't lie to me. Right?
Okay.
So the worst is when people lie. Do you have clients who lie? They lie about their diets. They lie about training.
Diet's the biggest one.
Yeah.
But at least my in-person clients, they're very honest. They're like, hey, I didn't do the workout, or like I drank. If they're honest with me, then that's perfectly fine. But if it's too ongoing, then I'll have a more serious conversation. Like, hey, like something needs to change because you won't be obtaining these results. Also, it's like doing bad to the inside of your body, right?
Yeah, and it's just like for them, like when I was a rookie trainer, I believe people, right? Where they're like, I'm just not losing weight. I'm doing everything I can. And I'm like scratching my head like a fucking dumbass. Like, did I like do the fucking macros wrong? Like, what am I doing? And then, you know, nowadays I know, like, you're just cap, bro. You ain't doing shit. You're not training on your own. You're not following you're fucking lying to me, right? So like, I don't have that responsibility anymore because I know they're lying, right? So I'm just like, all right, you're just wasting your own money at this point, right? But back then I used to be like, oh no, this is on me, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, so like for people listening out there who might have a trainer, like, don't do that to your trainer. Like, I hope they're smart enough to know you're lying.
Yeah, just be honest.
Yeah, just be fucking honest. And like the other thing is just like, people who don't enjoy it anymore, right? I think like for most people, like their goals needs to change. Like, you know,
do you goal change every now and then to clients?
If they stop progressing and they are not following protocol, they're not doing anything, I'm just like, what are your goals now, right? Because we need to change it. Because your goal might have been to lose 30 pounds 6 months ago, right?
But let's say like they got there.
There, and then I just ask them, like, do you still want to train? Like, do you have anything else you want to work on? Like, if not, then I'm like, okay, cool, you're done.
Yeah. Oh, you just let them go?
I let them go, yeah.
Oh.
Because I'm like, I have limited slots, right? There's other people who needs my help, right? If you don't want to be here, don't.
Yeah. I passively just like, if there's any, if you...
Yeah, you ask them, like, what else do you want to work on, right? And there are people that are like, you know, like one of the guys who are like, I don't even want to be here. I'm just here so I'm not in pain again. I'm like, you won't be. You're fine.
Yeah.
Leave. I don't want to see you.
You're good.
Yeah, Peace. I don't try to like, I know like, you know, it's a sensitive subject because livelihood, right? But there are so many people out there that like, I'm not trying to claw onto like a handful of people for life.
Okay.
Like, I know a lot of trainers see their clients for like 20, 30 years, which is cool. Like, if you guys are like that, but I don't want to fear monger
One of my longest clients is 7 years.
Yeah, but like, you don't have to fear monger them, right? They just want to be with you, right? They're just like, okay, I enjoy training.
But
like,
they actually like the results.
Exactly, yeah. But like, there's cases where trainers are like, oh no, you have to work. Now that we're done, you got to work on your ankle dorsiflexion, or else you're gonna like
That's
not be.
So specific.
I know. Or your serratus, or your, you know, like they tell them like their hamstrings are always going to be sore because it's a smaller muscle.
That's weird.
Yeah, but anyways, so like stuff like that.
Be sore.
Everything's sore. You know, fitness industries, half of it is a scam.
Yeah.
The other half is.
Okay, let me talk about like soreness real quick. Oh, what do you do? Because I've had this experience when a client experience back soreness from like those specific exercises. So like a deadlift for once. Because again, like your erectors or your lower back is only there for stability, but when you use it, it will be sore. Yeah. Right. But then they, in their minds, because they're so unfamiliar with their lower back being sore, they think they're in pain. Yeah. So what do you tell them?
It's the easiest way is just ask them what kind of pain it is, right?
That's what I say. So
I go, is it sharp? Is it burning? Or is it like an aching pain? And they're like, oh, it's aching, it's tight. And I'm like, welcome to exercise. Yeah. You're going to be sore.
Yeah. Right? I tell them beforehand too. If they're like a newbie
you're going to be sore tomorrow. That's what I tell everyone. Yeah. You'll be sore tomorrow or in 2 days, right? Yeah. It's going to feel bad, but that's okay. It's going to get better over time.
Exactly. Yeah. Your body will acclimate to it. You know?
But if they're like freaked out, like, hell, like, oh my God, did I hurt myself? Like, I'm like, probably not. Like, to be honest, Like you probably pulled your back once.
I've had one client back then, like this was years ago, bought a 12-pack, third session in, like we did a posterior chain exercise, so all the muscles in your back. So, and then she said, "Oh, my lower back is sore. Like I think I'm like injured." And I tell him like, "Oh, come in," because the thing is that if you're sore, one of the best things to do is just to keep moving. You just want blood flow in those muscles, right? They're just super tight. Yeah. And plus, like if you're so new, you'll acclimate to it eventually. Right. She just ghosted me, and she never asked for a refund. So she did 3 sessions, paid for a 12-pack.
Oh shit!
I was like, oh, I guess
it's money. It's good that you could turn it on them. They're like, for people that there's obviously drop offs, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's our fault because we program too much, whatever, right? We're human. Sometimes it's their
also
fault.
Right? Like we as trainers and physical therapists need to have the humility of admitting that
we fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. We're not perfect, but we're also trying to like implement change.
Right? Yeah. The more we admit that we're wrong, the faster we grow.
Rather than fabricating that, like, oh yeah, it's because of X, Y, and Z or something like that. Yeah, if it's genuinely my fault, like, all right, that's...
no, there was a fucking asshole this week. He was like telling his client that he's hurt because he has low testosterone. I was like,
what?
Well, he wasn't hurt before. Like, where did that connection come from?
Interesting.
But there's you gotta take blame. But anyways, like you just gotta tell him like, hey, you're gonna be sore, right? Okay. You're gonna be in pain sometimes. Like, if you're active, you're gonna hurt yourself at some point.
So let's end it with this. Like, so let's give any type of advice, whether it's fitness, whether it's like prehab, whatever advice that you want to give to someone. What's one advice that you would give? It could be anything specific, it could be very general.
General. Build muscle while you're young, right? So you got that longevity.
What if they're older? What if they're older?
Try to maintain it for as long as you can. That's it.
Mine is just stretch, like just get that like flexibility and mobility. And again, if you are just in it just to build muscle, like what you said, like having that range of motion will help you build that muscle a lot better.
And you won't get injured and set yourself back.
Yeah. Like people don't understand that. Stretch out. But yeah, so this is episode 23. We hope you enjoy this. If you want more fitness content, I guess we'll provide more. We could definitely provide more. It's fine. It's fine. Like, because again, I'll admit this was a pretty good episode. But, if you made it to the end, we like to appreciate y'all. Again, if you want to hit us up all social media platforms at Short King Stock Everything. Links are in the description below. And yeah, if you want any more fitness questions, we can talk about it in another episode. It's pretty good. Do you have any final words for the people?
For the people? No. For my clients, don't lie to me. I know.
All right. New episodes every Wednesday. Hey.